A wrongdoer is in a wooden stockade. His crimes are written for everyone to see. This is China, 1868. Actress Anita Ekberg meets paparazzi outside her house with a bow and arrow. She did this after being relentlessly followed by them all night, back in 1960. There are 4 women. They're in a small home gym. It's the 1950s. There's an American paratrooper in North Korea in 1950. The 1930s. A Turkish fisherman returns with his booty. British soldiers with the German Goliath tank busters they captured. These busters would drive under tanks and explode. This was during the years 1939 to 1945. Hitler reacts to a kiss from an excited Carla de Vries, a 40-year-old American woman at the Berlin Olympics in 1936. German and British pilots were in a dogfight above St. Paul's Cathedral in London during the Battle of Britain in 1940. American helicopters fire machine guns into the forest, covering the advance of South Vietnamese troops on a Viet Cong camp. The year was 1965. A duplex hand scale from the 1950s. The year was 1950. A football helmet was put on a test dummy. Then they dropped the dummy from a height of 15 feet. They did this to see if the helmet would protect the dummy's head. The dummy's head had sensors to measure the impact. They also tested the helmets by hitting them with a metal weight. The weight was about 20 pounds. They would swing it at the helmet. Hop pickers on stilts in Faversham, England in 1920. Folks who had to cross the rivers around Somerville, Massachusetts, but didn't want the trouble of a ferry or rowboat, might have been able to hail this water taxi for on-demand service. It's an old-fashioned playground. There's a slide. There's also a seesaw. It's a nice day out. Got the bike? Check. All the neighborhood girls to show off to? Check. Close adult supervision? Check. Knowing life doesn't get any better than this? Priceless. An anti-fascist protester is arrested during the battle. This happened in London on Cable Street on October 4th, 1936. The Saigon robot from Italy in 1957. Amelia Earhart, 1936. A woman and a dog are jumping rope. It's the 1940s. The oldest known documented wheelie, 1936. Hours before its catastrophic crash in 1937, the German airship Hindenburg majestically flew over New York City, offering a glimpse of its grandeur. Backbrush, 1947. An automobile crash occurred around 1910. Students in Holland protested bathroom conditions in 1973. This wild-looking thing is a balloon apron from World War I, a giant net suspended from balloons that was used to help protect England from aerial attacks. A boy, he's got a homemade Kodak camera, and he's pretending to take a picture of a little girl with a doll. This was in 1907. "15-year-old scout Vova Igorov, 1942. A father is holding his son, a small child, who is covered in napalm burns. The year is 1964. Buffalo Bill Cody, 1880. American actor Mel Ferrer is covering his wife, screen icon Audrey Hepburn, with his coat. It's around 1956. A burlesque dancer named Miss Zorita is walking her snake. This happened during the 1940s. The Vespa family from the 1950s. There's a pair of thylacines standing in their enclosure at the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. around 1904. Franca Viola, an Italian woman who became famous in the 1960s for publicly refusing to accept the twisted tradition of marrying her rapist. A zebra-drawn carriage, Buckingham Palace, 1900. An Egyptian street vendor is selling mummies in 1865. They're building a snow hut in Knoxville, Tennessee in 1895. A group of Havana schoolboys in 1937. The boy with the lollipop is Fidel Castro. Butch Cassidy, sitting on the right, is pictured with the Wild Bunch Gang in 1901. Here's a description of lion tamer and animal trainer Jack Bonavita with his lions. Bonavita was eventually killed by one of his animals in 1917, though it wasn't a lion, but instead a polar bear. Someone's wearing a terrifying costume for Halloween. This is a young factory worker in Maine from 1911. A boy makes a friend at the London Zoo, 1958. Al Jaffe and Will Elder in the lunchroom at the High School for Music and Arts in New York City in 1936. Jefferson County Mobile Library, Texas. First mobile library, 1925. There were women with racing geese in New York in 1908. It's a stylish family outing, 1946. Margaret Bork White, Life's first hired and first female staff photographer in 1943. The French army supplied 600 barrels of wine for its troops for the Battle of Gallipoli during World War I. Inside a lounge train car from the Canadian Pacific Railway Company. This was in Montreal, Canada, around 1886. Men were constructing Chicago sewers in 1912. There are children in the slums of Cumberland Street. This is in Dublin, Ireland in 1940. A German soldier is sharing some of his food with a local Russian mother. Junkers Larson, JL-12, Aerial Dreadnought, Washington, D.C., October 22, 1921. It was an IRA terrorist attack in 1939. A horse is jumping through a group of men. This took place in Washington, D.C. in 1930. Mountain Mine, 1889. Seoul, Korea, 1960. The Transcontinental Railroad of the USA, 1869. Tuberculosis patients are in a sanatorium in Colorado, roughly from 1920 to 1940. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, health officials thought tuberculosis could be cured with sunshine and fresh air. A soldier is spraying the inside of an Italian house. He's using a mixture of DDT and kerosene to try and control malaria. This is during World War II, around 1945. Little Sarakatsina spins wool. This happened in the 1940s. Main Street in Los Angeles in 1897. Durham, North Carolina, 1940. A United States Marine gives an interned child candy in Tinian, Mariana Islands, in 1944. Monroe was a noted guest at a friendly match in Flatbush. The match featured the U.S. national team and the Israeli club Hapoel Tel Aviv in 1957. George W. Bush and George H.W. Bush in 1947. The Piccadilly line on the London Underground, being constructed under the tram tracks in 1906. Two terrified Black American girls run away from police officers. This happened during a race riot in the Bedford-Stuyvesant neighborhood of Brooklyn. The riot itself was triggered by rioting over police brutality in nearby Harlem. The date was July 21st, 1964. Alright, so it's a film called Camille from 1921 starring Alla Nazimova and Rudolph Valentino. Men in the Woods of Montana are advertising for wives in 1901. The Mad Hatter's Tea Party from Alice in Wonderland, 1898. All right, here's the deal. These British paratroops are giving a thumbs up before they left England in a glider. They were headed to France to reinforce the Allied troops. Their slogan, painted on the side of the glider, matches their camouflaged faces. This was in 1944. All right, so we've got a picture of skateboarders in San Francisco, taken in 1977. American troops are with Renault FT-17 tanks in the Argonne Forest, France in 1918. Four women are at a convention for former slaves in Washington, 1916. Winston Churchill, in 1948, is painting a cityscape. He's smoking his signature cigar and drinking scotch. After the Second World War ended, Churchill spent his time traveling, writing, and painting. Jim Morrison of The Doors loved dogs and owned at least 3 during his adult life. They were Thor, Stoner, and Sage. Martin Joe Lorello, the only man with a revolving head, appeared in Sam Wagner's Freak Show on Coney Island in 1938. It's the billiard room on Mulberry Street in 1943. There are hats. Children showing the blatant class divide of pre-war Britain in 1937. It's the 100th birthday of someone. Charlie Chaplin is holding a doll version of his film character. This was in 1918. They were building the hand and torch of the Statue of Liberty in Paris in 1876. The Spanish Civil War. After the Boston molasses disaster of 1919, parts of the city's north end are in ruins. There's a cat wearing a bonnet, sitting in a stroller. This was in 1908. This is young Master Stevenson of possibly Cast Lane, Carrick-on-Suir, County Tipperary, January 8, 1907. All right, here we go. There's a parrot costume. It's a bright blue and green feathered outfit. The costume has a long, curved beak. It also has big black eyes. The parrot is perched on a person's shoulder. They have their arm around the person's neck. Ferdinand Porsche is showing a model of the Volkswagen Beetle to Adolf Hitler in 1935. Women are lined up to vote for the first time in New York after the passage of the 19th Amendment in 1920. There's a picture of the spectators, including alleged mobsters, hiding their faces with hats. They're doing this to avoid being recognized during Al Capone's trial. It was in October of 1931. A skeleton is sitting at a pub table waiting to be served. This was on the 26th of May, 1970. Richard Avedon and Sophia Loren at his New York studio, 1966. A janitor sweeps the floor of the New York Stock Exchange after the Wall Street crash of 1929. "34 members of the Neapolitan Mafia, also known as the Camorra, are caged in the courtroom during their trial. To the right, there's a smaller cage with a witness. This happened in Italy, Viterbo, in 1911. There's some buried machinery in a barn lot, and this was during the Dust Bowl in South Dakota in 1936.